For years, women constantly showed up at my door, challenging me and demanding I step aside. I was tired. When I approached Marcus for a divorce, he sneered, "Are you tired of being a wealthy socialite? You want a divorce? Fine." But after the paperwork was truly done, his face turned terribly dark. "Grace, there's still a few days left in the cooling off period. If you've had enough of your tantrum, go cancel it yourself. Miss this chance, and even if you beg me, it'll be useless." Later, he cried until he was physically ill. He asked if I could give him another chance. "Grace, stop right there. I had just brought Luna home when I saw an arrogant young woman." Seeing her aggressive stance, I understood completely. After all, this kind of thing happened every few months, and I was used to it. I asked Ms. Eva to take my daughter back to her room, then walked over to the woman. Her eyes were full of triumph, and she spoke to me, looking down her nose. "Let me introduce myself. My name is Amy, and I'm Marcus's girlfriend." I know. Every few months, there's a woman claiming to be Marcus's girlfriend who comes to find me. You're. I glanced at my freshly done nails, trying to recall. Never mind, I really couldn't remember. You. I can't remember which number you are anymore. The woman's face was furious and she was about to retort, then suddenly seemed to remember something. A smirk played on her lips as she declared haughtily, "I'm different from those other women, because I'm already pregnant with Marcus's child." She triumphantly rubbed her stomach, mocking me. "I'm afraid you won't be Mrs. Hayes for much longer, will you? This position will be mine sooner or later, just you wait and see." The woman, radiating determined confidence, flaunted her victory at me then left. I stared blankly at her retreating figure, lost in thought. What did Marcus tell me the first time a woman came to find me? Oh, he said with annoyance that those women threw themselves at him, and he hadn't touched any of them. He even questioned me. "Grace, how could you doubt me?" Later, I stopped doubting, and I stopped asking, but his scandals grew more and more frequent. Once, twice. I lost count of how many times. He never explained anything to me, letting those women harass me. He could have stopped them. He could have shut down those rumors. Didn't he know it would hurt me to see them? It slowly dawned on me that he simply didn't care. Now there was even a child. Had he really not touched them? As I stood there lost in thought, Luna popped out, cautiously tugging at my clothes. "Mommy, was that auntie looking for Daddy?" I bent down, about to explain to Luna, but she spoke first. "Mommy, Luna actually noticed a long time ago that Daddy is a big bad guy. Luna doesn't want Daddy anymore. Luna only wants Mommy. Can we leave Daddy behind, okay?" Luna was right. I had accumulated enough disappointment. It was time for me to leave. I arrived at the firm, and before I even entered the office, I heard him on the phone with another woman. "What else have you set your eyes on? You like this one, right? Can't decide on a color? Then buy them all." I paused, then pretended I hadn't heard anything and walked in quickly. Marcus showed no surprise when he saw me enter. He continued his phone call unhurriedly, even putting it on speaker, deliberately letting me hear their flirting. I looked at him expressionlessly, not wanting to waste time, and cut him off directly. "Marcus, let's get a divorce." The office immediately fell silent, save for a few birds chirping outside the window. Amy, on the phone, instantly reacted, sweetly calling out, "Marcus." Her voice barely concealed her excitement, but before she could say more, Marcus abruptly hung up. He stared straight at me, as if trying to see through me, and said carelessly, "What? Is the money I give you not enough?" He knew I hated the smell of smoke, yet he'd picked up smoking after we married. People really do change, and he was no exception. I frowned. "No, I'm tired. Let's get a divorce." Marcus chuckled, thinking I was joking, and scoffed. "Are you tired of being a wealthy socialite? Do you know how many people are eyeing your position? Grace, don't regret it once we're divorced." I said calmly, "I won't regret it. Let's get a divorce." Marcus laughed in exasperation. "Fine. You want a divorce, you'll get one. City Hall isn't closed yet, let's go now." "Okay." With that, I left ahead of him, leaving Marcus alone, stunned, in the office. After completing the paperwork, I immediately left. Seeing my resolve, Marcus angrily chased after me, gritting his teeth. "Grace, if you won't be Mrs. Hayes, there are plenty of women who will." "Oh, I know." I walked past Marcus and left. Seeing my lack of reaction, Marcus shouted furiously behind me, "The divorce cooling off period is 30 days. If you regret it, go cancel it yourself, don't bother me. Otherwise, even if you beg me then, I won't remarry you." I ignored him and drove away. Good. I knew I wouldn't regret it. Even if he begged me, I wouldn't remarry him. That evening, I had a class reunion. Seeing me alone, someone couldn't help but come over and ask, Grace, why are you here alone? Where's Marcus? Didn't he come with you? Seeing the gloating in the person's eyes, I didn't answer, instead taking my drink and sitting aside. Seeing that I ignored him, the person said bitterly, what's there to be so smug about? We all know about Marcus's scandals. So what if she's been with Marcus all these years? Marcus is still looking for someone else. I bet she won't keep her position for long, ha 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 ha. What are you talking about? Would be in his position without Grace's help? Besides, you all know how capable Grace was back then. Even without Marcus, she'd still be doing better than you gossiping fools. My best friend Chloe suddenly appeared to bail me out. The person who spoke ill of me flushed and ran off as if escaping. Others, fearing involvement, also quickly walked away. They still harbored some fear of Marcus. A bunch of petty people. Chloe was still fuming on my behalf when she sat down. I casually told her about my divorce from Marcus. Chloe immediately spit out a mouthful of juice. I patted her back to help her catch her breath. She paused, then said, Gracie, you've suffered enough. It's good you divorced him. I smiled and asked her, aren't you going to ask me why? Gracie, we're best friends. I trust that you have your reasons for whatever you do, and besides. Chloe looked upset, unable to stop complaining. I wanted to say this a long time ago, but I was afraid of upsetting you, so I didn't dare mention it. Marcus is such a jerk. No, all men are jerks. All these years, how many women have come after you, and he never did anything about it. Who knows how many women he's been with? It's disgusting, you poor thing. I lightly tapped Chloe's nose and said with mock seriousness, looks like I'll have to make a comeback. Otherwise, how will I support you and Luna? Chloe immediately threw herself into my arms. Now there's something to look forward to again. I knew you were the best. But I'll support you too, hee hee. Okay. I affectionately ruffled her hair. While handling the divorce proceedings, I ran into an acquaintance at the law firm, Ethan, my college classmate. I felt it was awkward to involve an acquaintance in such matters and was about to pretend not to see him. But just as I turned away, he called out to me, Ma'am, can I help you with something? I stiffly turned around, silently praying Ethan wouldn't recognize me. The next second, I heard his surprised voice. Grace, it's you. Let me help you with whatever you need. He confidently patted his chest. I gave an awkward laugh. Before long, we were both sitting in the coffee shop next door. Looking at Ethan, impeccably dressed and handsome, I recalled our college days. Back then, he and Marcus were the most popular heartthrobs on our campus. Even with his black-rimmed glasses, Ethan's handsomeness was undeniable. Unlike flamboyance, he was always understated but excelled in every aspect. Marcus always liked to compete secretly with him back then and often brought him up in conversation with me. My impression of Ethan was of a quietly handsome man, but now, looking at this clearly overexcited man, I couldn't help but wonder if he had been possessed by someone else. I couldn't help but ask, why have you changed so much? Seeing his confusion, I quickly clarified. I mean, why are you so outgoing now? I remember you used to be very quiet. Ethan didn't speak, just smiled at me, his eyes shining brightly. I walked ahead, talking to myself, is business bad at the law firm? Does being a lawyer require you to be more enthusiastic and proactive? I vaguely heard him mumble, because if you don't take the initiative, you won't get the person you love. I didn't hear him clearly, and when I turned to ask again, he wouldn't say, just smiled gently at me. The next day, Luna wanted to go to the amusement park, and I immediately agreed, completely forgetting about the meeting I had scheduled with Ethan for that day. It wasn't until Ethan's phone call that I realized. I quickly apologized to him. To my surprise, when he heard I was at the amusement park, he immediately said he was nearby and would come right over, then hung up as if afraid I'd refuse. Soon after, Ethan arrived. Seeing his clothes practically soaked with sweat, I felt a flicker of suspicion. He quickly explained it was because the weather was too hot. I glanced around at everyone wearing long sleeves but didn't call him out on his lie. At that moment, Luna's attention was drawn to a large Winnie the Pooh stuffed animal. Mommy, I want that. Okay, Mommy will buy it for you. A service attendant nearby told me, I'm sorry, that's a prize, not for sale. You can win it by competing with your husband and child. She looked at Luna and Ethan behind me. I realized the Winnie the Pooh was a prize for a 3-person competition and felt a little disappointed. Surely, not many families of 3 come to the amusement park together? Ethan looked at the disappointed Luna and said, it's okay. If wants it, Uncle will win it for you. Then he looked at me, seeking my permission. Seeing his and Luna's expectant gazes, I nodded. Then, holding one of my hands and one of Ethan's, pulled us towards the registration booth. The attendant saw us and quietly said, "Sister, not many people are signing up, and you and your husband are so young. You have a great chance of winning, good luck." I felt a little embarrassed and glanced at Ethan. Our eyes met in a heated gaze, and I quickly looked away. The competition was in full swing. Just as the attendant said, the three of us indeed had a significant advantage. We swept through the competition effortlessly and quickly reached the final round. Our opponents were evenly matched. Their whole family was quite sturdy. I worried if we could win. Ethan seemed to sense my concern and gave me an encouraging look. With him by my side, I felt strangely more at ease. The final challenge quickly began. Two children were sitting atop a mountain, guarding the crystal balls we had won. Ethan and I planned for him to retrieve the opponent's crystal balls while I guarded Luna's side. The opposing team had the opposite strategy. Ethan's movements were swift. He took down the opponent's crystal balls one after another. The little boy on their team was practically in tears. I was defending our side rigorously. Time was almost up, and their father had only managed to get a few balls. Perhaps spurred on by his son's cries, the man, in a fit of anger, grabbed my ankle directly, trying to pull me down. Caught off guard, my foot slipped, and I was dragged down. Everyone gasped. I was about to fall into the pool below. Ethan appeared from nowhere and caught me. Just then, the whistle blew. "Time's up." I strained to look up and see how many crystal balls we had left. "Don't worry, we're definitely going to win." Ethan's voice came from beside my ear, and only then did I realize I was still in his arms. My face instantly flushed, and I was about to put some distance between us. At that moment, the host's voice rang out. "I announce that the winner is little Luna." "Yay! We won, Mommy. Luna wants to slide down too." Luna's excited voice came. I hadn't even had a chance to put distance between Ethan and me when I quickly turned to catch Luna as she slid down from above. Luna excitedly kissed me on the cheek, then turned and kissed Ethan. In the eyes of others, we looked like a happy family of three. I looked at Luna, then at Ethan's flushed ear tips, and my face turned even redder. Some sharp-eyed people noticed Ethan's and my faces were red as boiled lobsters and couldn't help but tease us. Some even started chanting for us to kiss them. The crowd's voices grew louder, and Ethan and I quickly separated, maintaining a certain distance. Just then, I suddenly heard a familiar voice. "Why aren't you going to kiss them? You three seem to be having a lot of fun." I turned around and saw Marcus, his face as dark as iron, with Amy beside him, her face full of gloating. When saw Marcus, her previously happy little face instantly turned sad. I asked Ethan to take Luna aside. Ethan gave Marcus a meaningful look, then carried Luna away. Perhaps it was my imagination, but after Marcus clearly saw that the man beside me was Ethan, a flicker of panic seemed to cross his face, which then turned to anger. "You divorced me for him?" I scoffed. He was so angry to see me with another man, yet he never considered how I felt seeing him with other women. Seeing him seething with anger, looking as if he expected an explanation from me, the last bit of feeling I had for him vanished. I looked at him calmly. "We're already divorced. Who I'm with doesn't seem to concern Mr. Hayes, does it?" Marcus froze, seemingly stung by the words Mr. Hayes. His eyes were full of disbelief. He threw Amy's hand away, grabbed my shoulders with both hands, furious, so eager to jump into another man's arms. "Have you and he been together all along?" I frowned slightly, looking at him with distaste, and said nothing. Seeing my reaction, Marcus became even more unrestrained with his words. "What? Am I right? Could it be that Luna is his child too?" I glared, then slapped him across the face. "Get out." Amy, seeing us like this, showed a hint of triumph on her face and added fuel to the fire. "Miss, how can you hit someone? You're so agitated, aren't you feeling guilty?" Hearing this, Marcus's gaze at me again turned suspicious. I didn't want to waste any more time with them and simply turned to leave. I noticed Luna, who had been downcast moments ago, was now smiling again, which struck me as odd. Luna spotted me and scurried over, saying, "Mommy, Uncle took me on the Ferris wheel just now and told me so many stories." I followed her gaze. Ethan, holding a huge stuffed animal, smiled at me. I was about to go thank him when a woman's voice came. "Finally found you all." I turned back to see the woman from the competition, pulling the man's ear with one hand and holding the little boy's hand with the other, her face full of apologies. "I'm so sorry, truly. My husband here is just too impulsive." Then, she angrily spoke to the man. "It's all your fault. Apologize to them quickly." The man, grimacing, apologized. I'm sorry, my apologies." I didn't think it was a big deal and forgave them. The woman, seeing how quickly I forgave them, felt bad and pressed a business card into my hand, only leaving after repeated apologies. Luna wanted to use the restroom then, so Ethan and I waited outside for her. We didn't speak about what had just happened. Feeling a bit awkward, I tried to say something. How did you catch me so quickly just now? Great. That just made it more awkward. Seeing silence, I was about to change the subject. But he looked into my eyes and said with utmost seriousness, because I was watching you the whole time. I hadn't expected Ethan to answer that way and was speechless for a moment. Ethan took a deep breath, his ears suddenly turning a little red. He looked at me and continued, Grace, actually, all these years, I've always liked you, always. I know you've divorced Marcus now, and, can I pursue you? Ethan's eyes sparkled. I was warmed by his use of grace, and my face felt a little hot. But once I calmed down, I still refused him. Ethan, I'm sorry. Ethan's eyes dimmed slightly. I understand. But I missed my chance once before, and this time I won't give up. I'll keep waiting for you, 10 years, 20 years, even forever. After came out, I declined Ethan's kind offer to drive us home. On the way, Luna kept talking about how happy she was that day, and even mumbled in her sleep, I wish I had a daddy like Uncle. Hearing's words, I tightened my grip on the steering wheel. Ethan was wonderful, but when we got home, it was already dark. I fumbled for the light switch and carefully put Luna back in her room. As soon as I opened my bedroom door, a pair of large hands pulled me in, and a kiss, eager and impatient, landed on my lips. I was startled, and a strong smell of alcohol hit me. Feeling the familiar body in front of me, I instantly recognized who it was, and a surge of irritation welled up inside me. The man's tongue was still trying to pry open my teeth. I deliberately opened my mouth, and the moment his tongue entered, I bit down hard. The man cried out in pain, immediately released me, and shouted angrily, Grace. I spat out the taste of blood, then calmly turned on the light and looked at Marcus. You forgot, this apartment was given to me in the divorce. But I don't plan to live here anyway. I'm going to pack it up and sell it in a few days. You don't need to come here anymore. Marcus's face darkened even further at my words, but his tone softened for a rare moment. Today was my fault. Luna is my child, and I shouldn't have doubted you. The cooling off period ends in a week, you. I inadvertently saw the paternity test results in Marcus's hand and gave a helpless smile. He still didn't trust me. Without waiting for him to finish, I pushed him out. No need. I don't regret it. Please leave. I need to rest. Marcus said, gritting his teeth. Grace, have you not had enough of this drama? Ethan is just a small-time lawyer now. I could make one call and ensure he'd never find work again. I'm giving you one last chance, think carefully. With that, Marcus stormed out. After he left, I rented another apartment. I opened my laptop, published a chapter on my novel that hadn't been updated in a long time, and then went to sleep. The next day, my novel, which had been dormant for years, immediately attracted my readers. Seeing their overwhelmingly warm comments, my eyes welled up. Initially, I used my royalties to help Marcus establish the firm. But once the firm became powerful, he started to look down on my writing. Once, he came home drunk and, seeing me ignore him as I was writing, he directly smashed my keyboard. He said that with all the money he had now, why was I still writing novels? Had he forgotten how he got to this position? Luna had just been born then, and after that incident, I put my novel aside for a while. Later, too much time passed, and I stopped publishing, but I never gave up my hobby. I always wanted to write something every day. Actually, I still preferred writing novels. I could raise Luna and myself perfectly well on my own. If it weren't for Marcus, for helping him manage the firm, I might have. But, thankfully, it's not too late. I diligently wrote 5,000 words, then packed my things and took Luna to the newly rented apartment. Passing by the law firm, I happened to see Ethan coming out, carrying some belongings. Remembering what Marcus had said yesterday, I quickly got out of the car. Ethan's eyes lit up when he saw me. I asked him what was going on. He smiled and told me he simply didn't want to work there anymore. Seeing his demeanor, I felt a pang of guilt, having already assumed Marcus was behind it. I silently cursed Marcus 100 times and asked Ethan what he planned to do next. Seeing my concern, Ethan became excited again and immediately reassured me that this was actually just a side business for him, and I shouldn't worry. Ethan then saw me carrying so many things and asked what I was doing. I told him I was moving, and he offered to help. I couldn't refuse, and with Luna clinging to him, I accepted his kind offer, thinking I must pay him extra for his legal services. Ethan became instantly excited when I agreed. He hurriedly gathered the items and told me to wait a moment while he went to get his car. Soon after, a luxurious car pulled up in front of me. I thought my car was blocking the way and was about to move it, but Ethan poked his head out and greeted me. I froze, looking at the clearly expensive car in front of me. I wasn't very knowledgeable about cars, but Marcus liked luxury cars, and the style of Ethan's car looked a bit familiar. When I asked him the price of the car, Ethan paused and said he bought it casually and had forgotten how much it cost. I didn't think much of it and took him to the new rented apartment. After finally moving everything, I suddenly remembered that the novel I wrote today hadn't been updated yet. I immediately opened my laptop and uploaded what I had written that morning. Ethan watched my actions and said gently, "You're still the same as you were back then, so fond of writing novels." Luna excitedly chimed in, "Of course. Mommy tells the best stories. Luna loves listening to mommy's stories." I smiled shyly, then suddenly remembered something and looked at Ethan, laughing. Ethan, seeing me like this, paused, then also remembered something. His face turned a little red, and he said with a hint of complaint, "You're not thinking about that fan fiction you wrote in college about me and Marcus, are you?" Luna looked confused. "Mommy, what's fan fiction?" "Luna wants to see it too." I gave an awkward laugh. That book had some things not suitable for children in it. Seeing about to speak, I immediately reached out and covered his mouth. The soft warmth on my palm, and both Ethan and I froze, staring directly into each other's eyes. Seeing the affection in Ethan's eyes, I quickly released my hand, made an excuse about needing to use the restroom, and, without waiting for Ethan's reaction, disappeared from the spot. When I looked at my flushed face in the restroom mirror, I felt frustrated with myself. "Grace, what's wrong with you? It's not like you haven't been with a man before. How can your face be this red?" It was a long while before I came out, but I didn't see Ethan. I was a little confused. Luna told me, "Mommy, are you looking for Uncle? He just took a phone call and left in a hurry." Oh. For some reason, not seeing Ethan made me feel empty. Could it be that Before I could ponder further, Ethan, soaking wet, ran back, carrying a paper bag. "Sorry, I had something to take care of. This is the porridge I just bought. You must be hungry, right?" Ethan was almost completely drenched, but the paper bag was still dry. Seeing the magnolia on the bag, I paused. This was my favorite restaurant. I remembered it was far from here, and there was only one location. How did Ethan know? How did he get back so fast? I took the warm meal from Ethan's hand and lowered my head to drink some porridge. Yes, it was the familiar taste. I grew even more confused. When I looked up, I saw the evening sky. "Thank you for dinner. It's getting late, You should go back." The light in Ethan's eyes dimmed again. He smiled and told me, "Okay, goodbye." Just as the elevator was about to close, he Denley spoke, his voice carrying a hint of pleading. "If you or Luna need any help, could you please call me?" I opened my mouth but didn't answer, silently watching the numbers on the elevator slowly decrease. Time quickly came to the last day. Tomorrow, Marcus and I would be completely over. During these past few days, I hadn't responded to Ethan, even though he sent me messages religiously every day. Perhaps in a few more days, he would give up. I suddenly really wanted to eat the meal from that restaurant with the magnolia. I drove to the vicinity of my old apartment and was surprised to find that the restaurant, which had been there for nearly 10 years, was closed. Looking at the for lease sign, I realized it had been closed for a week. Where had Ethan bought it for me that day? Before I could figure it out, I suddenly saw Marcus walking out of the old apartment, looking utterly dejected. This was the last day. Fearing he might suddenly change his mind, I pulled open my car door, ready to leave. Just then, my phone rang. I accidentally answered it. Marcus's triumphant voice came through. "Grace, I knew you couldn't bear to leave me. It's still not too late to cancel the divorce. If you go now, I might reluctantly forgive you." Hearing these words, a mix of emotions swelled within me, and finally, I sneered. "Why should I be the one to go? Marcus, do you really think you've done nothing wrong? What have I done wrong?" "Grace, you're the one who wanted the divorce. It's you who." I didn't want to hear his excuses anymore, so I hung up the phone directly and drove away, thus missing his last words. "It was you who didn't want me first." Back home, I wasn't sure what I was thinking, but I dialed Ethan's number. "Ethan, I'm hungry. The meal you bought last time was really good. Can you get me another one?" "Okay, I'll be right over." Listening to Ethan's excited voice on the phone, I felt a strange flicker of nervousness. Soon after, Ethan, carrying a bag with Th. Magnolia design, burst excitedly into my apartment. As he took the food out of the bag, he told me he had recently found a new job and that I shouldn't worry. My heart tightened, and I tried to say calmly, "Didn't that restaurant close down? How did you buy it?" Ethan's movements paused, and he couldn't meet my gaze. Oh, they opened a new branch. Didn't you know? I looked directly at him. Tell me the truth. Ethan looked up, and smiled with a sense of relief. You found out anyway. I opened that restaurant. Actually, all these years, I've always been by your side, quietly watching you, not daring to disturb you. That's why, as soon as you divorced Marcus, I waited for you at the law firm. I've been waiting for this chance for almost 10 years. Grace, I love you. I had loved you even before you were with Marcus. After getting my answer, I felt a bit uneasy. Ethan, you really didn't have to. I know, but I wanted to. Ethan interrupted me directly, his gaze gentle and firm. I'm divorced, and I have a child. I clutched the hem of my shirt, not daring to look into his eyes. I know. I don't care, Grace, I love you. Ethan remained resolute. Childbirth is very painful, and I don't plan to have any more children in the future. I said loudly. I really love Luna, and I don't want any either. Grace, I love you. His voice was gentle. I'm very lazy, very sensitive, and I can't do anything. I mumbled to myself. I can. I'm very diligent, Grace, I really, really love you. His eyes were full of hopeful expectation. Grace, I love you. No matter what you say, I love you. Ethan gently held my tightly clasped hand, his eyes filled with love. I couldn't control myself anymore and hugged him tightly. After a long moment, I choked out, Ethan, I'm not ready yet. Ethan gently kissed my hand, his voice hoarse, it's okay. I'll wait for you. A tear fell onto my ring finger. The next day, it was barely dawn when I was woken by frantic doorbell. Ringing. I groggily opened the door and saw a haggard Marcus. I was startled. It had only been one day, how could he have changed so much? Before I could react, Marcus tightly grabbed my hand and demanded, why didn't you go to cancel it yesterday? Why? I waited for you at the city hall entrance for a day and a night. Why didn't you come? I tried hard to shake off his hand. Let go. We're already divorced. Marcus acted as if he hadn't heard me, continuously asking why. Just as we were at a stalemate, Mommy. Ethan had picked Luna up from school. Marcus grew even angrier when he saw Ethan. You just divorced, and you're already living together? Grace, you really are something. Ethan stepped forward, loosened Marcus's grip on my hand, and stood in front of me. Marcus, you two are already divorced. Please show some respect. Marcus looked at him, then at me, and chuckled, his eyes suddenly welling up with tears. Gracie, did you know? The person who helped you in college was Ethan. All these years, you've always loved Ethan, haven't you? I paused, then asked Ethan to take Luna outside. Ethan gave me a worried look before leaving, and I gave him a reassuring nod. I spoke to Marcus. I knew about that from the start. Marcus looked at me in disbelief upon hearing this. I know you're not good with computers. It was Ethan who helped me find that video back then. When you excitedly came to me to take credit, were you really that naive? But when you stood up for me, spoke up for me, and believed in me wholeheartedly, I still fell in love with you. Marcus's eyes lit up, and he wanted to come over and hug me. I dodged him and continued. But later, you changed. You fell in love with other people. I didn't. I really didn't touch them. I just wanted to see if you would be jealous of me, if you truly loved me. I didn't touch them, really. Marcus quickly said. Then that child. Never mind. What does it matter whether it's true or false? Even if you didn't, the who? RT is real. Let's just leave it at that. It's over. No, Gracie, I won't give up. Ethan isn't right for you. We're the perfect match. You'll come back. Marcus looked at me, his eyes full of determined confidence. I couldn't help but frown, about to say that I wouldn't come back, but said, I'll give you a little more time to think about it. Perhaps before long, you'll realize that choosing me was the right decision. With that, Marcus left.